Hi, we're here to talk about Avatar and Avatar The Way of Water. It's Mitchell Lee, it's Tommy Grant, it's Brandon 2, it's press play action. No, it's not. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It
Yes, it
is press
is.
play. We do so much damn shit. Yes, it's press play action. And guys, we're here to talk about two of the biggest movies of all time from a box office perspective. We're back on that James Cameron as Brandon and I, before we record this, we are going to see Avatar Fire and Ash in less than 24 hours, my
So
most
true. Yeah.
anticipated movie of 2025. I'm excited. I've heard some mixed things about it, which we'll see how it goes.
Could bring the excitement level up.
It is kind of a weak number one because I mean next year we have Dune Messiah and the Odyssey, and like I'm looking forward to those both way more than Avatar Fire and Ash. But it is still the one that I was looking forward to most coming into the year, and I am very excited for that IMAX 3D experience tomorrow
Uh,
night.
that's gonna be phenomenal in IMAX.
Yes.
100%. And
Also,
I've never seen an Avatar. No, I have seen an Avatar. I saw Way of Water in IMAX, but I saw it first
yeah.
in Dolby high frame rate 3D with Brandon
Yeah,
and our
yeah.
and our
We did
buddy
see it in
Howie.
3D. Yeah, we did see it in 3D.
In the high frame rate. I didn't
Yeah.
notice that because I saw it in IMAX 3D with my fiance afterwards, and that wasn't in the high frame rate. And I was like, all right, this definitely looks a little bit different.
Yeah.
So I wonder if it's going to be the high frame rate tomorrow night or not.
Also, speak for yourself because I had Sinners #1 on my list. Didn't even
No,
have
you
Avatar.
did.
Didn't even have Avatar on the list, so that's probably a miss
That's
on my part.
see, I had Sinners at I had it number 3. I had it behind Avatar and I had it behind Mission Impossible.
I also have Marty Supreme on this list, so when that movie
Brandon knows what's going to be good. He also did say that 28 years later it was going to be a classic, and I don't think that was.
yeah, that didn't happen.
But for the most, that
also,
was a rare
Outer Nights
blemish.
Outer Nights is also on this
Ooh,
list.
yeah, no, that was a miss.
So
Big.
As someone
if we
that just
replace
saw that
Outer
movie
Nights
lately,
with
that
Avatar,
is a miss.
if we replace Outer Nights with Avatar Fire and Ash, I think this is a killer.
I meant to
Outer
say
Nights?
Avatar, not Alto Nights.
Yeah,
I just
misspoke.
Avatar.
Is Avatar Fire and Ash, is that supposed to be the final movie in
No.
I don't think it's
I
supposed
don't
to
think
be.
so.
Okay.
But I don't. It could be. I think it's one where like if it does end here, then fine. But it could keep going.
Didn't he
I don't
technically
know.
write the story for like he has like a fleshed out story for 4?
I think he's a fleshed out story for
Fleshed out story
5.
for a long time. It just took him
Yeah.
so long to make these movies.
Yeah, it just took him
I
forever
don't
to
know
make
how
the
many
movies.
he actually had planned to make.
Yeah,
He
I think
also
he
said
has
that
5.
he could make other
planned.
movies.
Yeah.
Like other movies, like not Avatar movies. Like he
Yeah,
could make other stuff. He's not tied to just making the
I
Avatar
saw a few
movies.
articles come out this week about him saying like he wants to move on from Avatar after this, but like it didn't specify if he meant after this specific Avatar movie or just after Avatar.
I would expect this box office cleanup to be pretty nice, and then it's going to be hard once you've already basically written the story for 4 to have the studio be like, "So, can we get Avatar 4?" And he's going to be like, "No, I don't buy that." So I think there's going to be a
try and
fourth
push
one.
it because obviously Disney's invested with this because they have a whole section of
Yeah,
their
they're
theme
invested.
park
I think they want 4. I think Disney wants 4 movies. So
yeah. So
I think we're
I
gonna
think
get 4
Disney
movies.
wants 4 movies if this does as well as 1 and 2 because these are incredibly expensive movies to make. And let's go ahead and dive right into the first Avatar. Again, written, directed by James Cameron, starring Sam Worthington, Zoe Saldana, Stephen Lang, Sigourney Weaver, and Michelle Rodriguez. This had a $237 million budget, which is kind of insane for an original sci-fi movie. But it also made $2.9 billion and is the highest grossing movie of all time. This was an absolute phenomenon back in the year 2009. It came out December 18th. I remember seeing this with my brother and being really excited to check this thing out. And I left the theater and I did not like the movie. I was not a fan of it. And I remember everyone in my life just calling me like I was a 15-year-old piece of shit and I was going to hell. And honestly, Mitchell, I'm gonna kill your ass.
No.
Like,
I,
It was that.
it was-
It was that incredible.
feel like
It was-
this might be a hot take, but I feel like these are overrated movies in the sense that visually, I think they're probably the best movies made. Like visually stunning, but in terms of the story, I don't really
Tommy?
care for it.
I mean, we
Tommy.
can get into it. But
Tommy, I didn't finish.
I know.
I didn't
I know
finish
you didn't finish,
because
but I had to jet in and say I
because-
support younger Mitchell's claims that it was
I remember my grandma went to see this movie with her sister like a month after it came out, because this movie was in theaters forever.
and they re-released it after
They re-released it, but even before that, this was the movies for like the movie theaters for like 3-4 months. My grandma called me, and she was like, she said, I see you, in reference to one of the lines in the movie, which is kind of funny because she can't really see anything now, but it's not really that funny. It's just something that comes to mind when I think about that, what she said, and I'm like, oh, that's kind
I
of
see
sad.
through you.
No,
Into your
not
soul.
through you, no, not through you, Brandon, but
Yeah.
but no, I love my grandma, and the way that she described the movie to me, almost like I went back and I saw it after that because I was like, maybe I just wasn't seeing things the same way that she did, and I think that I started to like the movie a little bit more. I got swept up into the spectacle, and every time I've liked this movie, or every time I've watched this movie, I have liked it a little bit more. However, I do not think, because there's a period of time where people thought this was going to win Best Picture, and it did not win Best Picture. It lost to The Hurt Locker, and I haven't seen that movie in a minute, but I remember being a little bit lower on that movie than a lot of others, especially in a year with Up in the Air and Up and Inglourious Bastards. I don't know if The Hurt Locker and Avatar were necessarily the banner carriers for the great movie year that was 2009. But this thing made $749 million domestically at the box office. Can you guys tell me what the second highest grossing movie of 2009 was? That's my first trivia question.
I'm gonna take a wild guess here and say it was Inglourious Bastards.
That is wildly incorrect.
Wow.
That was number 25.
Was it Hurt Locker because that was the Oscar winner?
That's even more wildly incorrect. I don't even know if that was top 100.
Really?
Well, Terminator Salvation definitely didn't make that much.
Yeah, Hurt Locker was 116, Tommy.
Let's see.
2009.
Highest grossing movie.
Okay, all right. I didn't realize. So we have a Harry Potter movie that year and a Transformers movie. So that's got to be.
It's got to be Harry
Transfor-
Potter.
Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen made
There's no way.
$402 million.
Jeez.
Cleaned up at the box
What
office.
a joke.
And what two movies did Avatar block from the top spot? Both Christmas releases that were top 10 movies of 2009, but never made it atop the box office charts because of Avatar.
I mean, Harry Potter, the Half-Blood Prince.
No.
Right? It didn't?
No, that was a summer release.
Hold on. We're talking about Christmas movies.
Summer Christmas movies, okay.
Yes, well, one was technically released on December 23rd, the other was the 25th, but either way, around Christmas time, never made it to the top of the charts because of Avatar.
Okay.
Interesting.
I'm seeing Sherlock Holmes.
That's one.
Okay.
And which one made, because that's number 10. What was number 9?
Up?
No, it was a summer release. Killing it with summer
You're
releases,
acting
Brandon.
like I would just know when these movies were released. Like
Well, I do because I'm autistic. But
The Hangover? Like
no, that was a summer release, Brandon.
yeah. I mean, like what are we doing here?
December 2009 movies. Curious Case of Benjamin Button. I know that's a kind of a.
It was 2008.
Yeah. The Blind Side?
Close, but no. That came out a month before.
Better not be
Blind Side.
Marley and Me. That movie made me cry. I hate that movie.
You're back in 2008, Tommy.
Well, it's list.
I'll give you each one more guess.
It's on the fucking list for box office of 2009.
2012.
Close, but no cigar.
Okay. I don't know then.
Yeah, sir. Marley and Me was December 25th.
If it's not at the museum, I'm gonna be pissed. So.
Nope, it was 2000. You're looking at it that the fact that it did make money in 2009, but it was released in 2008.
If it's not at the museum, I'm gonna be
movie.
pissed.
That's a summer release, Brandon.
Box office for 2009 website has lied.
Go ahead and
the movie is Alvin and the Chipmunks: The Squeakquel.
Oh fuck that!
God, fuck that I'd rather.
And actually, we're going to be reviewing that instead.
Cloudy with the Chance of Meatballs, like literally any other movie.
Alvin and the Chipmunks: The Squeakquel made $219 million.
I don't even hate Alvin and the Chipmunks: The Squeakquel.
I've never seen any of them, good, so I don't know. But this movie was a big success, obviously. With that budget, making that money. The technology and the visual effects were the big talking points from people leaving the theater. But guys, I'm going to open up the floor to you guys because I already mentioned that this movie had kind of grown on me over time. What are your takeaways from watching, or I'm guessing rewatching? I'm assuming that you both have seen Avatar before. I know you have, Brandon, because we've reviewed Avatar before.
Yeah, we've reviewed Avatar before. My opinions haven't really changed. I'm kind of with Tommy that the plot, while okay and good, I think it's solid. So, you're there for the visuals and you're there for like the world building, but the plot in of itself, it's like, okay, so we're just rehashing like the story doesn't really pick up until...
I'm going to extremely oversimplify this to the point where I know people's going to get mad.
Yeah, people are going to get mad.
The best way I could explain it is the Disney Pocahontas movie, but with aliens.
Yeah, that's what... So we've had
I've never seen the Disney Pocahontas movie.
We've had similar conversations. Pocahontas.
It's not colonialism.
Dances with Wolves. I mean, pick your colonial.
The Beekeeper.
The Beekeeper's definitely a white savior.
Everything ties back to the Beekeeper.
Definitely a white savior movie. The Beekeeper.
It's literally just a movie about colonialism and just trying to.
But it's cool because it's on a different planet.
Yeah, but it's literally the same concept. Like you literally have them going, these savages and stuff like this, and like hostile. Like, dude, you're literally invading another planet. You were the hostile.
I think 3/4 of the way through the movie, it starts to pick up, and you're like, oh, okay, like now I see the plot. Like now I see like there's some like depth here, and there's
the very beginning. Like there was nothing hiding for me when I first started this movie way back when. I'm like, this is literally just Pocahontas. Like they're gonna want to take over and destroy the country, planet, whatever you want to call it. They're gonna go right for that tree because that's where all the resources are, and it's gonna be a big fight. I predicted the whole thing. It wasn't very hidden for me.
No. I mean, as much as that's gonna upset some people, it's not a wrong take. I will say.
I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad movie. It's just the plot.
I think
for me, it's a visual movie. It's a movie that I don't think will be topped when it comes to visual effects because I understand why Transformers was high because I feel like Avatar and Transformers were two of those movies that had CGI kind of like nailed down.
I think that the first Transformers captured an audience.
Yes, but Revenge of the Fallen was a worthy sequel, and after that, it kind of tanked.
Ooh,
you think Revenge of the Fallen was worthy of the crack of my ass, maybe, but not.
That's your opinion, but
I think Dark of the Moon was a good sequel. I don't think Revenge of the Fallen was.
Sequels aside, the CGI aspect, Avatar and Transformers.
Yes, they were visually appealing movies. My problem with Avatar wasn't so much with the plot, because at the very least I found it interesting. My biggest issue with Avatar was two things. One, the runtime. I think it runs a little bit long, which the second one is longer, but
I don't think it gets good until
I think the second movie has a better pace. But the first Avatar, my
Yeah.
biggest issue by far with this thing is the dialogue. I think the dialogue in this is
Oh, you hate
pretty
Jake
bad at
Sully.
points.
You
So,
hate Jake
so the
Sully.
runtime for
No,
me
I don't hate
goes
Jake
along with
Sully.
the plot.
I hate
Him
most of the
narrating over the
human.
top of it.
I hate most of the human characters that aren't Sigourney Weaver,
Okay.
or I don't hate Stephen Lang. I think Stephen Lang gives a fun performance, but I think a lot of the shit that he has to say is like, what kindergartner wrote this?
I think some of the dialogue is crazy.
So my big complaint, aside from like my complaint, wasn't even really the plot. It was just it wasn't that interesting for me. But the fact that the runtime impacted, because that definitely could have been told in a much shorter story. But my other complaint was the character development. I could not care about any of the characters in this movie. There's no character development aside from Sully. They were all kind of pretty much static characters that you didn't really have
I
much.
think that's the point, though.
Yeah,
I
to
liked
push back.
Natiri.
but if I'm gonna sit,
I liked Natiri a lot.
but like if I'm gonna sit there for 3 hours and watch a movie about all these characters, I want to be invested. Like when it comes to long, like Lord of the Rings, I always heart like those are my favorite movies. But again, I love the characters. You go along this journey with these characters. With this movie, I didn't really feel that. It might just be me, but if I'm not invested in the characters, I don't want to sit there for 3 hours. As pretty as it looks, it's
Yeah,
not me in.
I'll fire off this. I don't even know if it's a hot take. I don't think the movie gets good until halfway through.
I think that's very fair because
I
that's
think it's
when,
interesting in the beginning, but it picks up halfway through.
Yeah.
Once
go
he
ahead.
really starts getting ingratiated with the Navi
Yep.
culture, that's when things start getting interesting.
It's
You
like,
don't
okay,
really care
that's
about
cool.
Yeah, and I think that this could have been a lot more interesting just from the very beginning of it was his brother that was supposed to be the one that went,
Mhm.
and now it's him instead, and they
he's
kind
in
of
a
go off that a little
wheelchair,
bit.
and it's just
I liked the dynamic between him and Sigourney Weaver.
Yep.
Every second that fucking that giraffe looking bitch came on screen, I was I think his name was like Norm or something.
Yeah.
Joel David Moore.
Yeah, Joel, there's a reason I don't see you in movies too much anymore, man. Acting, it's a mix between the acting and the dialogue. It was just horrible, and every time that character appeared, I was like, "Can someone please shoot this guy?"
But again, like
Please.
We gotta
because
find out who
his
the father
character
is eventually.
he was a static character. He was literally just meant to be kind of the geeky, nerdy guy that was just kind of sucked into the whole experience.
Not to spoil.
There was going to be no development with his character. Same with Sigourney Weaver. She was the nerd, who knew all the science aspects to it, but she didn't really have anything to grow as a character. Sully was the one they really focused on, which again, he's the main character, but everyone else kind of had one purpose and that was it, and they didn't really write them well enough to make them likable.
I'm gonna combine these two reviews. I think The Way of the Water gives these characters like Norm and Grace way more depth.
Yeah.
Than like you're like, oh, they like it's hinted like wink wink they might have had a relationship. And like some of the like that's where I'm like, okay, like why couldn't we explore that and not hear Miles Quaritch just like rant about stuff for 5 minutes? I don't know. I'm just the dialogue, as Mitchell was pointing out, is just absurd. Some of it is absurd. And coming from someone like James Cameron, who, I mean, he has Terminator under his belt. He did Titanic, right? I mean, he's clearly has these epic movies under his belt.
Yeah.
I don't love the dialogue in this, and I don't get it, actually, to be quite honest. And that's not saying I don't like the movie, because I do.
This was definitely his visual masterpiece. There's no competition on that end. Like this was visually.
Part of me is like, is this like his magnum opus? Like he's like Avatar is the best I'm ever gonna do.
Yeah,
but I'm like, there's no way he thinks
that's what
that.
drew so many people to this movie, because like so many people that I don't think had any interest in alien or sci-fi movies still went to go see this movie just because everybody was raving about
the dude who wrote Terminator and Titanic. Is that what they're saying? I mean,
This
I didn't get the
is
time because I didn't see Avatar in theaters in
okay.
'09, so
I
I didn't
did,
get that.
and this felt like, and this is again. I was 15 at the time. I had no idea who James Cameron was. I had no idea what the Alien franchise was. I had heard of Terminator. I had heard of Titanic. And this movie just felt like a movie that you had to see because everyone
Right.
was going to be talking about it.
Everybody
This
was
was
talking
the this was the must see movie of Christmas.
I
And
remember. I
just
think I actually saw this movie on New Year's Eve. I think my family and I we went to go see it on New Year's Eve. That was like the big thing to do because everybody was talking about it.
yeah. Um and it felt like I saw the movie and I saw this movie the Saturday of the weekend it came out. And I feel like I saw it too early. Like people were really talking about this thing like again, like around New Year's Eve, that
People were
week in
like,
between
"Oh shit, have you
Christmas.
seen Avatar?" Like that type
Yeah,
of thing.
around between Christmas and New Year's Eve, that little corridor of time, like everyone was going to see either this or Sherlock Holmes or taking their dumbass kids to see the fucking Squeakquel. But everyone wanted to see Avatar. It was the big thing, and you do get swept up. Some of the action scenes, like the scene where the flying sequences in this
Yeah.
movie. Between this and How to Train Your Dragon a few months later, you got some great 3D flying sequences in theaters
It also takes
over
an hour
this.
and 20 minutes to get to it, or
I mean
whatever it
that
is.
that is true, but you also I feel like you get again. I talked about the ingratiation with the Navi culture, and that is the most interesting part of the movie. And I'm glad that it is so interesting because when things start to go south, you feel it. And I
Yeah.
think that the score is fantastic in especially the first movie. I think you really really feel it when things are starting to go south, and that makes the action so much more impactful. I do agree, Brandon. The first half of this movie, I'm watching it and I'm like, I don't want to be the guy that doesn't like this movie, but I'm not sure I do. And then the second half comes around, and it's like, oh yeah, no, I'm into this. This
Yeah.
Yeah.
is this is good, and I see why people like it so much. But again, in 2009, this was a top critics lists, and people were making top 10 lists of the year, and this was right up there with the Inglorious Bastards
Mhm.
and the ups of
Which
the
I just
world.
can't get behind.
And I can't get anywhere close to that. It's closer to like I've got like I know we reviewed this a few months ago. Like I've got Zombieland a good bit higher than Avatar. I've got this closer to something like Paranormal Activity, which was another big sensation of 2009. Just smaller and
It,
around Halloween, but uh,
and if
a
you look at the
fun year.
franchise as a whole, I think it sets it up. Like I think it sets up what's to come for The Way of Water, and hopefully with Fire and Ash. I, I think this doing so well set up like 10 years later. They're begging James Cameron to make his sequel, and he's like, "I need the technology to be better. I need it to
Well,
look
he
just as
wanted to
good."
make this for a long time. He just needed the technology to catch up to what he wanted to do. And
Yeah,
then he was finally able to do that and release it in 2009. And if you go back and
yeah.
once we're done reviewing this, go back and watch the trailer for the first Avatar movie. It's like 3.5 minutes long. And I swear, like a minute and a half of it is just listing all of the great movies that James Cameron has made. It's basically like the Dolby trailer where Dolby's just like putting its dick out on the table and being like, "We are Dolby, we are the shit, and that's why you're here
This
right now."
this is
That's
color.
that's basically what James Cameron's doing. He's
In your
like, "Bitch,
face.
I made Terminator 2. You know you're going to see this movie." Like, and everyone's like, "Yeah, you're right, James. We are." Uh,
You thought you knew what pitch black was? Let's show you pitch
yeah.
black. And it just
You you thought you knew what beautiful landscapes looked like. You've seen nothing.
in Dolby,
Um,
yeah.
what did you guys think of Stephen Lang in this one?
I mean,
I-
he's
He
good.
did a decent villain, but again, it's just there was no character development. There was
Just wish
nothing
there was
behind
more.
him that I'm like, he didn't have a worthy cause that I'm like, like.
No, he's kind of just
You
pissed
know,
and a military guy.
And that's what I was thinking. It was literally just Pocahontas because all he wanted was resources. It's the only reason
Like
he.
he didn't care about the resources. The company cared about the
Yeah,
resources.
Giovanni
Yeah,
Ribisi,
He just wanted.
unobtainium.
But
It almost seemed like
he
he
was
just
getting
wanted to kill
paid off
people.
of securing everything. So he
Yeah,
wanted to
true.
get those resources. He wanted to secure everything. So that's all he was there for. And that
Seemed
was
like he just wanted to create like chaos. He was like, we're gonna humanely gas them out, and I'm like, no, you're not. You're gonna send the gas in when they don't leave. You're gonna start firing missiles. And
for lack of better terms,
sure enough,
he was a dick of a character, which again it worked. But there was no points where I'm like, I like this guy as a character or anything like that. It was just like he's
I
just
don't
there
even think
to cause problems.
That's the thing with like the Way of Water is like I
But
feel
he did
better
it
about
well.
him in the Way of Water, but I don't know if that's
Yeah.
I don't know if that's like a
Let's.
plus. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Yeah.
by the way, I should mention all the Oscars that this movie did win because it won 3 Oscars. Would it shock you to learn that it won visual effects?
No.
No. Would it shock you to learn that it won cinematography?
No.
Absolutely not.
No. Would it shock you to learn that it won art direction?
You know, Mitchell, it would not.
Yeah. It was nominated for Best Picture, was nominated for Best Director, Film Editing, Score, Sound Mixing, and Sound Editing, and it did not win those awards.
It deserved
Funny
all
enough,
of those nominations, though. Probably, yeah.
Funny enough, James Cameron lost Best Picture and Best Director to The Hurt Locker, which was directed by Catherine Bigelow, who is James Cameron's ex-wife. So.
Wow, real
That's
knife in the back.
That's kind
Did not
of.
know
But I
that.
bet you. Yeah, but I also bet that James Cameron cried himself to sleep on the $2.9 billion that
Oh, yeah,
Avatar
I mean,
made.
yeah.
He
So
said, "Hurt
yeah.
Locker." He said, "You can hurt this."
Yeah, hurt these nuts, you know.
I don't think Hurt Locker pulled in anything close to that in the box office.
No,
But
not by a long shot. I'm gonna give this a B plus 13.44, which feels strange for a movie. People say that it has no cultural impact, but this was a big cultural moment.
Yeah,
And I feel weird having it that low, but it also is the only real score I could give it.
and
think.
we always
Go ahead.
talk about like how movies are, cinema is art. And to me, this was a very artsy movie. It didn't have much, didn't have as much as you might want in terms of a story or character development, like you might get with movies like Hurt Locker or Glorious Bastards. But it had that visual appeal, which is why obviously it won all those awards for visual effects and cinematography. So
If you ask
it's a
Tarantino,
good artsy movie.
Inglourious Basterds is his masterpiece.
Dude, I don't like listening to Tarantino's opinions. He just
No.
Oh, I was more talking about the end of the movie when he
Yeah.
has Brad Pitt stare at the camera and go, "This is my
Yeah.
masterpiece."
Yeah.
But
yeah, what's his masterpiece? We've discussed that movie. It was
yeah, look, I like the movie. Do I like it as much as Inglourious Basterds? Is going to be in my Hall of Fame? No.
Fuck no.
Yeah. No. I mean, go ahead. Yeah. I mean, you're right. Definitively no. With that said, I'm gonna give it an A minus 5.1. I think it
Okay.
passes. I think it passes like the threshold for me to give it like a like on Letterbox, but and I do understand that like the back half of the movie is really really good, and honestly, it sets up the Way of Water and how great that movie is from like a standpoint of visually. I totally understand that in terms of Avatar. So
and
yeah, I'm gonna give it an A minus, low A minus.
the overall picture. Yeah, this is a big building block movie for the franchise, but as a standalone,
Yeah.
I give it a solid B80.
Wow. Very low.
By the way,
It's not low for me. I mean, it's just it's a solid movie. I enjoyed watching it.
Yeah.
Would I be craving?
I don't think many people would have that opinion. Is kind of my point.
I've only watched 18 of the about 110 or so 2009 movies that I do intend to watch. However, these are already the movies that I have placed above Avatar. You ready? So we've got Inglourious Bastards, Drag Me to Hell, Zombieland, Star Trek, The Hangover, Coraline, 500 Days of Summer, Watchmen, Sherlock Holmes, and Paranormal Activity. So,
solid list.
So I will say the most number of stars on Letterboxd is 4. So it's not like everybody loves this movie, but there is a fair amount of 5 stars and a small number of 4.5s. There are some
Hmm.
people who give it like ones, which I just will never understand. But
It's
That's
just
with every movie.
yeah, I think it's like a 3.5 star to 4 star movie, or 3 star to 4 star movie.
It's a very clear
Um,
3.5 for me.
yeah,
But let's get to Avatar: The Way of Water. This thing, they didn't just start pumping out sequels. It was 13 years later
that's
where we got
crazy.
Avatar: The
13
Way of
years.
Water. Again, written and directed by James Cameron, released December 16th, 2020. This thing had a budget anywhere between 350 and $460 million,
What's the discrepancy there?
which which basically means that this movie had to make $1 billion just to break even.
Yeah,
Which
which
is
we knew it was going to happen.
well, there were a lot of people that were like, well, Avatar had no cultural impact. Clearly, no one wants to see a sequel, and I'm like, yeah, just you wait.
you're
This
wrong.
movie is going to make money. This movie is going to make money hand over fist, and it made $2.3 billion.
It's one of
Oh
those
my
where
god, a
people-
2x, the 2x this shit.
Yeah,
It's one of those. Yeah, nobody wants to go see it, but yet we're still going to go see it when it comes out because you can't not go see a movie like this. Like,
however, this was not the highest grossing domestic movie. It was the highest grossing worldwide. It was not the highest grossing
Oh,
domestic movie of
I
2022. And
I
I feel
got
like
this
Brandon,
answer. This
let's
answer's
hear
in
it.
it's on lock. Top Gun Maverick,
Top
the
Gun Maverick
movie
did
that saved
outgross.
cinema.
Top Gun Maverick made $718 million domestic. Avatar: The Way of Water made $684 million
See, Mitchell,
domestic,
this
which is
is
still
closer to
nothing
where
to
I've been
sneeze
watching
at.
movies. Yeah, nothing. To
Yeah,
sneeze at.
exactly. Yeah, but that is still nothing to sneeze at
What did
all.
Do you have the number for the Batman? I'm just curious.
The Batman made 369, so it still
Okay,
did really well, but it was number 7 that year
number 7.
at the box office. So, quick trivia question: what movie came in 10th at the box office that year that Avatar:
10th?
The Way of Water blocked from being number 1 at the box office in 2022? This was also released around Christmas time.
Glass Onion? No, that got released.
Nope.
Yeah.
Really, really good movie.
Black Panther?
Nearly made my top 10. Probably should have made. Nope, Black Panther came out the month prior. Should have made my top 10 for that year. If I
Puss
revisited
in
it.
Boots: The Last Wish.
Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, which
Hell
is
yeah! Didn't make my
just
top 10 either, but what a great movie.
a fantastic movie that is way better than it has any right to be. And speaking of a movie that's way
Bullet
better than
Train
it has,
clears. Bullet Train clears.
you shut your mouth. Speaking of movies that have no right to be this good, Avatar: The Way of Water. Wow, what an improvement! I think
Wow.
that this movie is longer. It looks great.
you
I
don't have
mean,
to think it is.
well, yeah. This movie is a 3 hour and 12 minute movie.
There you go.
303 if you don't count credits. But the weekend singing the credits, so you're gonna stick around and listen to the song. I love this movie. It was
Yeah.
in my top 3 when I saw it in theaters, and I had not seen it since it had left theaters. I saw it a couple times in theaters in Dolby and in
A
IMAX.
couple.
Yes, in Dolby and in IMAX,
Okay.
and I hadn't seen it again, and I was a little bit worried. I'm like, all right, when I watch this at home, is the magic gonna fade? Am I gonna go from loving the movie to really liking the movie, or just loving it less? And my opinion did not change one iota. I actually gave it the exact same grade at home that I did in theaters because this thing just it gets you. At least it did me. I thought this was a dramatic improvement because I do like the family dynamic of this movie more. I think you do get a little bit more involved with the characters. I thought that the dynamic with the villain was really good, and I think that that was much more engaging. I thought the action in this thing was just
The
awesome.
action was a huge step up in this movie.
Huge
But that's also
upgrade.
because you didn't have the first hour and a half kind of slowly building in the whole, like you were already immersed in the world, which while we didn't really like in the first movie, I think it helped the second movie because you already had a full understanding of what world you were diving into, so you didn't have to have all that kind of plot building world. It was just you just went right into it.
Yeah, I agree. And we had an action scene at the beginning of the movie too. So you weren't just building up characters and plot. You had a little bit of that action to introduce some of the characters as well. I really liked the younger son in this. And there, I think that really once he starts building this relationship with this whale,
Mhm.
which sounds insane if you haven't seen the movie, but see the damn movie.
It took root.
I thought that that was something that worked on a way that you get to know his character so incredibly well, and it pays off really well towards the end of the movie. I thought that it put Jake Sully and Natiri in different positions because now they are their parents and they have to make decisions not just for themselves but for the betterment of their family, and the conflict they have of you know these water tribe people and they might be putting them in danger. And I was just fully invested in every single move that this pulled off. um, it felt like there was a lot less exposition in this movie as well.
Yep.
And if you do have that, you get it out of the way very early. And it was just very plot driven and action driven, and that contributes to me being a big fan of this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna sound like a hater, but I'm not. This isn't a 5-star movie for me, but it's really close. Um, I like it a lot. I think the plot is great. I think the storytelling's awesome. I think the visuals, the fight scenes, the water aspects of this movie and how they have to adapt to a new culture, new way of living is really really cool. But it never got to this like massive high for me. Is like, oh, this is just an awesome movie. But it's really really fucking good. I
For
don't
me,
know if Tommy feels the same way.
kind of the same way, but like kind of what we said for the first movie, where it started off really low, and then you got to kind of halfway in the movie, and then it really peaked, and it kind of stayed at that level.
Yeah,
I think this movie was a very quick, started low, went really high, and then just kind of paced itself at that like solid B plus level, and just maintained that for 3 hours. But I agree with Mitchell. The pacing of this movie was much better.
yep.
I remember
You
looking.
don't feel it. You don't feel the 3 hours.
I had seen this movie when it first came out on streaming, and going back, I was like, "Holy shit! I forgot this was over 3 hours." I was like, "This is gonna be a long watch," but it didn't feel as
It
bad.
moved, man.
It could have been 3 hours and
Some of
50
those,
minutes, and I would
hey,
have cared. I gotta
some
be
of those
honest.
Spielberg movies that were 2:15
Oh,
felt way longer
yeah.
than this.
So I didn't mind it.
Looking at you,
Amistad.
what's Amistad? Yeah, I like how
Um,
we were all thinking of the same
I
one.
don't. I don't want
I
to
think
like
the visual
tie.
effects with the water really added a
Mhm.
element that I really enjoyed. I don't know what it was, but like it was it's really cool how they did all the effects underwater. You had the air elements still with all the birds and stuff. I don't know what they call them, but the flying
Birds and
creatures that
stuff.
yeah. But you had that
Birds.
element from the first movie still in it, and adding the whole water element, especially with the whale and like the underwater like breathing apparatuses that they use, like their underwater tree of life. Like it was really cool seeing all that. So I'm very curious to see what they're gonna do with the third movie.
Yeah. I don't want to keep like comparing to like 2022 movies, but I'll put it this way: I don't think anything's gonna top like the beginning of The Northman in terms of like just insane beginnings to a movie.
I like the Northman praise here because
But
people forget just how great that movie was.
that movie's awesome, and the beginning is like absolutely insane.
The whole movie's great, Brandon.
The beginning of that movie is like one of the best of all time. I will stand by that.
But the
But
whole
with
movie's great, Brandon.
no, it is. It is. I think Avatar gets. There's a moment where Avatar: Way of the Water peaks above the Northman for me, and then it comes back down, and then it just like rises this plateau where it's like underneath the Northman in terms of like enjoyment for me. But there is a moment in the movie where it peaks, and I think it like goes above the Northman, which is very high praise if you know me talking about the Northman, because both of these movies, spoiler, are top 5 movies in 2022 for me. I just think they're not as close as people would think they would be to each other, grade wise.
So where do you think it peaks?
Um,
Let's talk about it.
I think it peaks when
that guy's arm flies off. No,
when Spider realizes, oh shit, I fucked up, is what it is to me is when it like gets to like peak territory because it's
when the
like
Tyrion's like, I don't give a fuck about this human bitch. Like,
right, yeah, yeah, and honestly, the last 30 minutes in the movie too, when she's about to stab him, and she like puts Miles in like this predicament. I'm like, holy fuck! Like this shit got real.
She does not fuck around.
Like there's
And
a
I'll tell
moment
you,
where it gets like real as fuck.
Wait, she was, a kid for a kid. Like, I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, that's what I was like. Whoa.
Well,
That's not when it peaks. I think it peaks when they bring the guns in and they just torch the other village. And I was like, oh, so I guess Spider like now realizes, man, maybe I shouldn't trust these like really terrible people or really terrible individuals. Like, oh, that's not your dad, but it might as well be because he's a piece of shit.
It was kind of interesting to me. The whole one, we didn't really discuss how they had such a massive time jump in these movies that they kind
They
of
just say it.
kind of gloss over, and you're like, okay, there's a bunch of kids here. Clearly, some of them are Sullys, and clearly some of them are not. Who the hell is this human kid? But you also have the villains from the first movie who were so against
All just
all
get
these
turned into
aliens, but all of a
Navi.
sudden saying, "Hey, we're now going to be aliens too," because we feel like left
we're
out.
all gonna be aliens too.
Because hey, we didn't destroy the technology that they used in the first movie to make these avatars. We clearly kept the scientists around, even though I don't think they did. So I'm very curious how they made all these new avatars that were,
on Earth and then flew them up to
yeah,
Pandora.
because I mean the main scientists behind them all rebelled against the military in the first movie. So I'm very curious as to who they got, to make all of these avatars for the bad guys in the second movie. But I'm sure that's just random shit that movie magic that's filled in. But I just found
I'm sure James has a fleshed out version, and the studio. The
yeah,
studio was like, "Nah, man, we can't have 4 hours. We gotta cut this a little bit."
it's like you had all the bad guys be like, yeah, all these hostiles that we hated in the first movie, we're gonna pretend to be them now for the second movie because we realize it's so much cooler to be an alien on this planet.
Yeah. And this speech where we're like, we gotta be Navi, we gotta eat Navi, we gotta speak Navi, and then Spider's like,
you gotta lick the marble.
Yeah, and then Spider's making fun of him, and then he ends up like growing an attachment to Miles, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm like, stop.
It's like, where was this the first movie?
I guess Quaritch is technically his name. He dropped the Miles.
You guys thought about like this in the first movie.
Yeah, where was any of this in the first movie? Yeah, it's just like, and look, I mean, Quaritch is like charming, and I mean, there's some stuff there, but yeah, I like this movie. I really do. I just think it peaks and then it drops a little bit. And then when we get to like the last 30 minutes, it picks back up again, especially when she's like, a child for a child. And I was like, oh shit. This is
best line of the movie, easily.
Yeah, best line of the movie. Yeah,
I think
I
my
mean, I really
favorite
like the movie,
was
but yeah,
when I was watching it and he's talking about like I'm gonna keep coming for your family,
yeah,
and I'm like, they're gonna leave off here, like,
Oh,
buddy, just
I
go,
mean,
just. And I was like,
rewatching
buddy,
it
just go and get it done now.
and
And then
Spidey
he's
saves
like,
him too, and it's like,
and then he's just
now,
like,
we're just gonna let him
all
go.
right, let's get it done. And I'm
We
like,
gotta
oh shit, we're
we
just
gotta
gonna
leave some
do it.
plot
All
devices
right.
for Fire and Ash. That's why.
well, yeah, they do kind of just like they
'Cause
like go at it
let's be
after he
honest,
says
if
that.
they didn't, if they killed him in the end of this movie, who would the villain be for Fire and Ash?
It could be anyone. It
Well,
could be like
it's gonna be some
struggle
fire
versus
chick.
struggle. Yeah, it could be like struggle versus struggle, like tribe versus tribe. You know.
Yeah, I don't think that would be the case. I don't know.
Yeah, I found the action fun. I found the new characters uh interesting.
Nah,
I
some of those
I'm
water tribe kids are dicks.
well, yeah, they tried to basically get this one kid killed. I mean, yeah, they are dicks.
But little did they know he was going to be the talker of the whales and become best friends with them.
I will say that
Tokun.
I want to see what happens with the one daughter that has like almost like abilities or whatever. I'm
Sigourney Weaver's
yeah
daughter.
yeah I need to see what happens with that because I found her character fascinating and they really only scratched the surface of what the hell was going on with her.
I have a feeling she's going to be a big plot point for the third movie.
Whoa.
I hope so. If I do take any points off, it's just because I would have liked to have seen more development with that character, but I did like the conversation that she had with Jake about like it was very nice to see because at the beginning of the movie he's very clearly talking to his kids as if they're soldiers, and by
Yeah.
the end of the movie he kind of learns to connect with them on a more personal level, and I thought that that was good character growth.
Yeah.
Also, I could see a lot of potential for kind of sparring with Natiri a little bit because
Mhm.
she's just pissed as fuck at the end of this movie. I mean, I thought that we talk about how good it looks. I think that the scene with the sun dying and there's like at the end of an eclipse going on at the same time, that whole thing looks spectacular.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's part of what I liked about this movie a lot more is because you got more time, you had more character development with all the characters, you had more screen time with them, so you felt more attached to these characters. Like when all these events happened, I actually felt sad and like connected. I'm like, wow, this actually mattered. Whereas the first movie, you didn't really feel that much. So I
Did
think
we
it's a big step up from the first movie in that
did
regard.
we figure out who Grace's I guess who the father is?
I don't think
Like, do they explicitly say it? I know they hint that it's Norm, but like, do they explicitly say who it is?
I don't
I'm
think that.
just curious if that's going to be like a plot point in the next one. I'm assuming she's going to
Well,
figure out who her father is at some
I
point.
mean, they don't really go into the whole how the
Well, she like should have asked
or-
Kiri like, "Who's my father?" and then she has a seizure and all this stuff. So I was just curious if like it actually was ever like mentioned. If I just like missed something.
I mean, they didn't really
I
go
don't think I
into the
did.
whole detail of like how they could have kids as avatars, like if they even have the ability to do so.
True. Yeah. Yeah. They never really
Obviously,
touch on that.
they can because Sully's got like a couple kids, and Sigourney Weaver apparently had a kid. I
And
would
they're like half breeds. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and like part of me would say Norm would make sense from a characters that we know perspective, but I have a feeling it's going to be some. It's either going to be a random character or they're going to do some sort of immaculate conception type storyline because she has like all these abilities that are connected to the trees of life.
Interesting.
And the end of the first movie had Sigourney Weaver connected to the tree of life when she was being brought back to life.
Oh, I didn't even think
So
about
I
that
feel
angle.
like there might be some sort of weird spiritual type storyline that they could do with her character. Um, those are the two avenues I can see them going down. But obviously, I'm sure we'll find out in the third movie because I
Well,
like she's going to be a much bigger role.
as always, James Cameron crushes the world building aspect of this movie, and I think if we're gonna go ahead and grade, people are gonna get mad at me. I think a little bit for this. I have this as an A 99.8.
I don't see why they would be mad.
Some people might think it should be an A plus.
I'm a little perturbed, but I'm not mad because
Yeah, some people think it should be like an A plus. You know, some people think it should
yeah.
be
I'm right there with that.
Tomas.
I'm an A, like 45, kind of like
okay.
solid A movie for me.
Yeah,
I get to
Again,
be the highest one on this
it
movie.
was too damn long. I did enjoy
Uh,
it fully, but
no,
it's a long watch.
I do not agree. I was floored by how much this thing held up for me because I was expecting a little bit of that, like, yeah, no,
improved
it's
for me.
great.
I didn't mention that
Really?
it improved. I had it as an
Okay.
85.1 originally. So jump.
I'm same grade I had this thing at in theaters. It did not move one bit. It's an A plus 36.16.
Ooh.
I love this movie, and I'm happy that it held up for me. I honestly thought maybe it might fall off a little bit because everyone talks about the visuals, and it's so easy to get swept up in all that and all the hype, and it just held up. And now I'm excited for Fire and Ash, and there's a chance that I go and see that, and I'm like, I'm done with Avatar. Peaked at Way of Water, but
Oh come
we
on,
will
you know
we
that's not
will.
going to happen.
I don't know that that's going to
They would
happen.
have to drop off drastically. I feel like in terms of like quality for this movie for people to not like it. I can't see.
I don't care about people. I care about Mitchell. You know, I fuck people. People are dumb. People are dumb as hell.
It's
I'm
like
just
the public can take it.
public can eat my ass. No, I'm not worried about the public. Public's stupid.
I don't think we're
So
gonna have the same reaction we had when we watched Dune 2 together.
no, I don't think that that's. I think that that's the Odyssey.
And I was hoping
Whoa.
on that. Yeah, I was hoping for that.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping that too. I want to have a good time. I want to have a good time, and I expect to have a good time. But I do think that this thing peaked at Way of Water. However, we are not going to be reviewing Avatar: Fire and Ash next. We are going to be reviewing two other James Cameron classics. We're going to be talking about, if you thought that Avatar: Way of Water was long, we're going to be talking about Titanic, which was the highest-grossing movie of all time before Avatar came around, and we're also going to be talking about getting back to Arnold Schwarzenegger with True Lies, which is another James Cameron kind of an underrated classic. Some people would say. I've never seen it. Looking forward to watching that one, but we will talk about that next week. And we're not too far away from getting back to list season. The best and worst of 2025 is going to be coming around in about a month or so. I know Tommy's been mowing down, watching a lot of these movies coming to streaming. Brandon has been keeping what he's watched and hasn't very close to the chest. So we'll just see what happens there. But I'm looking forward to that. Goodbye.